we're going to be getting started with session number 3. So welcome everybody. My name is Philip Anglade. Welcome to FX Pro Now. And today is September 5th, 2018. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over specific pairs, the only pairs that I specifically look at. And what I would definitely suggest is, literally you have to have TradingView. You have to have TradingView. If you don't have TradingView, it's going to be really, really hard for you to trade. And in the description below, you'll be able to actually see a link where you can be able to actually get TradingView, and you can be able to actually get your first month for free. You can be able to get the cheapest version. It's totally up to you. But in my opinion, I think that it's very necessary for you to be able to have TradingView, because you got to be able to save your charts, right? And it's best to have multiple charts saved. Now, the specific pairs that I personally go through and trade on are EU, are AU, are GJ, UJ, and UCAD, right? As far as the most, right? I also trade gold and Bitcoin as well, right? And I look at the DXY to see, what is out there, right? I want to see, how is the US dollar moving? So that's what we're going to start it with right now. So if you want to follow my lead and follow what I specifically go, trade with, and if anything, just focus on these specific pairs. Now, I know you probably are, a part of our company, and you probably are getting, trades from other, teachers and stuff like that, and that's great. But what I would definitely suggest is to focus on specific pairs and really get to know these pairs, because from what I've seen through experience and also from other people, is the fact that when you get to know these pairs, you'll literally know what it may do in the future, because you know what it did in the past. But if you're looking at 30 separate pairs, it can be really, really hard for you to remember. But just imagine if you were just, focusing on just one pair, you'll be able to really get to know that pair, just like a relationship. Okay, so I picked 5 separate pairs, mostly because if one pair isn't doing what I needed for it to do, or if I don't see a specific setup, then I'll just go to a separate one. And from there, most likely that one will have a setup. But because I'm limiting it to only 5 specific pairs, and those 5 specific pairs, like EU and AU, somewhat move alike, and UJ and GJ somewhat move alike, and then UCAD somewhat goes in the opposite direction as EU. So I want to make sure that I am just really, really specific on how I do things, and I would definitely suggest that you guys do the same, right? And document everything. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with the DXY. All right, so I'm just going to go out to the higher time frame, and from that higher time frame, I'm just going to see where I am in the market right now, and go on from there. Now, I know that you're probably new in this world, and this may look like Chinese. Believe me, guys, it's not going to be an overnight thing. But I'll definitely suggest, like I said, is to go through the chart breakdown, session number 3, and just watch each and every one. Over time, you'll just start to hear what I'm saying, and it will just start to make sense over time. But what I would definitely suggest is to really, really take your time in this game and use proper risk management. And if anything, 2% risk management is good risk management, especially if you're brand new. So on the weekly time frame, what I see is the fact that there's a trend line from point A, this wick right here, to point B over here, right? These wicks, and into the future. And then over here, I see that there's a point A and a point B over here. If anything, let me just lift this up right here, right? Point A and point B. And with that being the case, that B point right here, right, was the last highest high, right? And then from there, price started to push down, and price got to this level right here, right? But didn't get to 38.2. And when you actually take my course, you're going to be able to understand. Anytime that I say 38.2, you're gonna realize what I'm talking about, right? So price didn't get to 38.2, so it's not considered a lower high. So the thing is, we got to search for one, right? So I'm going to this kind of, what I do is I put this down right here. So we see price past 38.2. So this is a significant lower high right here, which is great. And we would think that, okay, the US dollar is most likely going to start pushing down at this point now. We see, if anything, yeah, so we see this candle right here, this white candle. It's a bearish candle, meaning a selling candle. So we see this candle right here engulfs this candle right here 2 weeks ago, right? And then we see some type of buyer's exhaustion over here, meaning that the buyers are getting tired and the sellers are gaining strength. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the daily time frame, and I'm going to see how everything is forming on that side. Okay, so let's go to the daily time frame real quick, and we see a new area where we can be able to pull out our Fibonacci retracement tool, right? So point A and point B. Sometimes I take off some of the ratios because just to be able to keep things clean. So point A and point B up here, we're looking for 38.2, and we see price doesn't get to that level over here. So if anything, I'll pull this up right here, and we see price doesn't get to 38.2 over here either. So point A, point B up here at these wicks, point C, we don't see it gets there, right? So I'm going to pull this up all the way to this top area right here, and we see that price is going towards this 38.2, right? So price pulled up a little bit, right? Stopped in midair, and I wouldn't be surprised, just like I said, price is going to get to this 38.2. Price is most likely going to get to this area right here. Now, why is that significant? Well, if you're in any USD pairs, right, for example, like the EURUSD or the USDCAD, think about it like this. If the US dollar is going down in value, then the EURUSD would go up in value. If the USD is going down in value, then the USDCAD will go down in value, right? And you're going to see how this may or may not correlate. Now, why? If the US dollar goes down, then this has to go up, right? Well, not really. If the US dollar is going down, then this has to go down as far as USDCAD. Well, not really. Mostly because, and this is how I kind of explain it in the simplest terms. So, my daughter, she's 1 year old, right? Here's this toy, and she has this toy, right? And I'm like, man, this looks like the markets. So let me show you what I mean, like why I say this. Well, think about a set of gears. Each pair has a specific weight to it. Now we know the EUR has a specific weight, and the USD has a specific weight, and those pairs kind of move the market the most, right? And then there's smaller pairs. So this is how I look at the market right here. That probably seems kind of weird, but this is how I see the market. Does this make sense? So let's say the USD is going one way, then the EUR is probably going the other way. And because these are the biggest ones, they're going to move these other ones, if anything, faster or something like that. And the little ones are not really going to have a lot of weight to it. So does this make sense? If one is going one way, the other one's going the other way, and they're going to affect all the others. So just because this is going down does not specifically mean that these are, that like these will go up or down. Okay, but I'm just letting you know. So we expect, okay, the dollar to go to at least 38.2. And if anything, probably even go to this weekly level right here, which would be a major deal. I don't know if it's going to go all the way down there, but if anything, we'll see. Now, the reason why I say I don't know if it's going to go all the way down there, actually, based upon the daily time frame, it is kind of like a downtrend. But on the weekly time frame, it's specifically an uptrend. All right, so let's just go down to the H4 time frame real quick, and let's see how this is forming. So we see price literally stops at this last. I don't know if the point A. Yeah, so this got to 38.2, so it's specifically a high. Price retested that area and will probably start pushing down. Now, a good indication if it's going to get to that 38.2 level, which is right here, this green line over here, is definitely if price passes this area. it will probably push down past that area, retest, and then from there push down specifically. Okay, so now we know, okay, the DXY is probably on a short-term downtrend. Okay? Let's go to the EURUSD and let's go to the weekly time frame, see how everything is forming. Right. Okay, so on the weekly, we see definitely a downtrend. Right. So the weekly and the daily show you which way is the river flowing. Right. Which way is the river flowing, meaning which direction is the trend going? So the downtrend. Now, again, the daily shows a downtrend as well. If price literally breaks this area right here and pushes up, now this is a whole different story, right? I don't know if price is going to do that, but if anything, we'll see. Now, the H4 time frame is mostly going to be where you're going to see patterns forming, okay? And that's where you pull out the Fibonacci tool the most, if anything. So let's see how this is forming over here. So let's do point A, point B. Price didn't get to 38.2. Price pushed down right here, and price is now at 61.8. Now, if price continues to push up, that's one story. But overall, I see EURUSD pushing, creating more lower lows and lower highs over time. But I'm not personally trading EURUSD. I did catch the sell down to this area right here, which is great. I don't know exactly how many pips I got. I closed out right here because I didn't know if price was going to pass through this supply and demand zone. But it moved 150 pips, which is great. But the thing is, right now, when it comes to EURUSD, there's no clear direction of where this is going specifically. If I was to put point A down here, point B over here, price didn't get to 38.2. So I'm going to just push this up a little higher. And we see point A, point B, point C, 38.2. So what this is telling me is this could continue its way up. But the thing is, for me to feel comfortable getting in at all, price would have to pass this area right here for me to feel comfortable to get into that uptrend. But the thing is, that uptrend isn't really going to be that long of an uptrend. So I don't even feel comfortable getting in this at all for me personally. Because the thing is, it's an overall downtrend. So I'll be looking more for sells than buys when it comes to EURUSD. But right now, it's starting to make more higher highs based upon the lower time frames. If anything, probably even the 15-minute will show higher highs forming. No, it's just pushing up. There's no real indication saying, hey, listen, this is what price is doing. For me to feel comfortable to get into a sell if price doesn't pass this area is if price passes this supply and demand zone. I don't know if you guys were on with me before, but I got into my sell over here a couple of days ago, right? Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I got into my sell over here. I said it to everybody, hey, listen, price is going to have a hard time to get through this area, and it did. Price pushed up. I said, listen, price is going to start pushing down, at least to the supply and demand zone, that it did. That's pushing up. So I need price to pass this area for me to feel that sell. So AUDUSD. So AUDUSD has been on a sell for a long time, and I missed this sell all the way up here, which is unfortunate. Like, it literally gave you a second chance to get into that sell, which is so funny, right? So based upon the weekly, let's go ahead and look at that one, right? So what we see here is the fact that price point A, point B down here, price pushed up to 50%, right? When it comes to the weekly, right? And then from there, it's a steady decline. And you see the steady decline sort of looks like this decline. So I wouldn't be surprised price will continue to make that type of push to the downside. But if anything, let's look at this. Yeah, so as far as this area, so point B, point A, point B, price didn't get to 38.2, and that's what it needed to do. So it was just continuation in the market, right? And then price started to make higher highs and higher lows based upon the H4 time frame. If I was to go over there, and yeah, so based upon the H4 time frame, and then price broke structure. And the thing is, the reason why I'm kind of hesitant to just jump in right here is because price broke structure over here. So being the fact that price broke structure over here, I wouldn't be surprised price is going to retest that area. And if it retests that area, that's a long way up. But the thing is, it may, you see how it may just continue its way down just like this did. But I guess we'll see over the future. And mind you, this is based upon the weekly time frame that I'm looking at, right? So let's go down to the daily. So what I do is I always look at the overall perspective on the higher time frames, and then from there I go down to the lower time frames, and look for specific trades. So like I said, the weekly and the daily is going to show you the direction of the market. What way is the river flowing, right? So as you can see, the daily is continuation of the downtrend, which is a very, very nice downtrend. And it would have been beautiful to get in all the way up here, but right. So you see how price broke right here, retested, and then from there started shooting down. That's what I meant. Let's go to the H4 time frame, and this is when you start to see patterns forming. Like I said, right? So it's actually doing what I needed to do as far as retesting this area to go up. I'll look for a break of structure in the lower time frame. So let's see. So let me show you something right now. So point A, point B, right here. So point A, point B. When you pull out your fibs, you're going to do it from the wick to the wick. You see how price pushed down, right? Quickly. You do it from the wick of that sell candle, right, to the wick of the last sell candle, right? So point A, point B, and point C is at 61.8, which is beautiful, right? And then from there, 61.8 is what we call a price reversal zone, and then from there, price reversed, right, and continues this way to the downside. Now, what price did again was price went from point A to point B, and you see how I pull it to the side just so I can be able to see. Because if I put it all the way over here, I won't be able to see the numbers. So that's why I pull it out all the way over here, right, so I can be able to see, right? So point A, point B, and we see price got to, if anything, I'm going to add in 78. So price got 78.6 to the T, so it's a slow retrace, right? And you'll learn that in my course, right? And then from there, we're going to do this one now. So I'm going to go to this first area. So price didn't get to 38.2. Right, I'm going to go to the second area right here. Price tapped at 38.2, but it's not a real retracement. So I wouldn't be surprised price will probably get to that area. And I would absolutely love if price gets to this area right here, because if it does and closes a nice 4-hour candle right here, that's when I'll feel comfortable to look for my entries for the sell. Now my entries are going to be based upon the 1 hour and a break of structure on the 15-minute. That's how this works. Okay, so as you can see here, price wicked this area, and it's not enough. We need price to really have a good retrace for me to feel comfortable. So that green line right there is a 38.2. So I see price will probably continue to push up. Right, I wouldn't say to get into any buys on that, on that small push up, because there's no real say that says, hey, listen, it's going to go to 38.2. So I would definitely suggest to not, I think that's okay. So let's say price gets to this area right here, then I'll continue my way to the downside. And that's the only say that I would have when it comes to this one specifically. All right. And my overall analysis for this is a long way down, but just for a short term, if price does get to that 38.2, then I would just look for price to get to this negative 27 area right here. Mind you, I don't even look at this indicator, but so I see price getting to at least this 0.7 one area right here, and for EURUSD, my overall is 1.12 still. Right? But for this one right here, 38.2 negative 27% would be where I'm looking for price to get to. Yeah, so let's go to GJ. All right, so GJ, I caught the sells, thank God, and I also caught the buys, thank God. Right, right now it's just kind of like idle. Right. So here's the thing. Let's go to the weekly. This is like beyond beautiful. Like honestly, like I wish I was trading GJ a while ago, because this is like, it's literally telling you obviously like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. For example, it's based on the weekly. So what is the river telling us? The river is heading downwards, right? And guys, what I definitely suggest, watch the chart breakdowns, because I'm literally saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Watch each chart breakdown, even if it's old, because I promise you, one, I'm actually giving you trades for weeks to come, and also I'm giving you, the knowledge of how this works and what I'm looking at, because I promise you that's the most important thing. Okay, I promise. So point A, point B, and point C, right? Price got like in the middle of 38.2 and that 50% area right here. Okay. Now that's cool. What that allows me to do is put point A, point B when it comes to this trend line right here on this. It was actually based upon the monthly and into the future. And as you can see here, price literally hovers on that trend line for a while. So, maybe price will, go to that trend line. I don't know. I don't think so, but it may, right? But either way, so let's go to the daily time frame. And what we see here is the fact that price was just doing that retrace based upon that weekly because it needed to do that, right? Now, what it has done now, it broke structure, right? Broke structure right here, right? Anytime it says break structure, what that means is going from one trend to another trend. So it was an uptrend, price broke structure over here, and if anything, you could say price broke structure over here, right? If anything, this is actually the break structure right here, and this can also be the break structure right here, but I feel more confident in this one right here because you can see price retest that area and then from there shot down, and you can tell price really wants to start shooting down, meaning that either the GBP is losing strength or the JPY is not being as fraudulent. Because I don't know if you know this, but JPY on purpose brings the value of their dollar down. Anyways, so price went from pushes down, retested that area, pushed down, and then from there retested that the break of structure. And let's see how high it did it. And this type of stuff called back testing is very important. So this is what I've learned, and mind you, I listen to hedge fund company guys. So what they explain is the fact that like a lot of people think that trading is easy, or what they think is the fact that, and if anything, let's see my face real quick. So what they think is the fact that, okay, a lot of people, what they are doing is, they're getting into the market and they're just, clicking the button, they're making thousands of dollars. No. As you can see here, it takes me anywhere from 5 to 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes to just look at a chart to maybe see where it's going. So yes, I'm clicking the button, or you're clicking the button to get into that trade. But what's really happening is you're taking only 30 minutes. It's really not a lot, but 30 minutes to really break down a chart. Look to see, okay, in the past, what did the price do when it's like right now it's doing, X. What happened before when it did X? It'll probably happen again, you know, or prices at a specific level right now, specific, support and resistance or monthly or weekly key level or something like that. Well, in the past, price did this before, so I wouldn't be surprised if price may, and it's not going to be a going, price may do the same. So what it does is it just allows you to have more confidence. So it's best to look at the higher time frames, and from the higher time frames create a story, right? So if anything, the higher time frames is like the cover of the book. So the weekly is like the weekly and the monthly is like the cover of the book. the daily is like the pages, the H4 is like the paragraphs, the H2 and the H1 are like the sentences, and the 30-minute and the 15-minute are the words, and the 5-minute and the 1-minute are the letters. You know, it all comes together. What I would definitely suggest is to read the whole book, not just a portion of it, because you won't be able to see the entire market. So write in the comment if that made sense to you, like this right now, if that made sense to you. Because in my opinion, I think that is a a really good analogy. All right, so point A, point B, and point C, price went in between 61.8 and 78.6, which is interesting because it seems like there's a correlation, and you'll start to see this. There's a correlation where price doesn't really, for this GJ, really get to a specific um, fib for some reason. It's really strange. And mind you, the Japanese are the ones that made the Fibonacci. Well, no, forget I just said that. Fibonacci is actually um, so 50% right here. Mind you, I'm just looking at each one, and mind you, I'm doing this with you guys, but I'm doing this for me too. Like this keeps me sharp, right? So this right here, 61.8, and it's essentially price. If anything, broke structure. But the thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if price cares more about um the weekly than the daily on the specific pair. I wouldn't be surprised. But let's see. Price got to 38.2, which is very, very good. And then price broke structure again. So it creates more down, more pushes to the downside. So here's the thing. Let's just say, price decides to push up, and it continues to push up, and price passes this last lower high right here, this red line right here, right? Then and then first it would have to pass this trend line. Mind you, this trend line is based upon the monthly time frame. For this to pass this monthly time frame's trend line, that's a big deal. So this is the seller's portion of the trend line. This is the buyer's portion of the trend line, right? Now, if price breaks this level of structure right here, that's a big, big deal. What that tells me is, hey, listen, there may be a big push to the upside, because for it to break structure on over here is a big deal. So my bias says, hey, listen, on the weekly, it's a downtrend. On the daily, right now, it's a downtrend. So I would be looking for more long-term sells, and then from there, more long-term sells, and and then less short-term buys. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's funny because I got the sell here, I got the buy here, I got the sell here, I got the buy here. So for GJ, man, I'm getting everything out of this, and I'm literally telling you exactly what to do. So as you can see here, this is actually what I was talking about yesterday on session number 2. I said yesterday, hey, listen, price is going to look to close this gap right here. And what did price do? You can be able to listen to session 2. I literally said exactly that, and it did it right to the T. So I think that's all price wanted to do, and then from there, it will continue to push down. Yeah, Brandon, I actually saw this video talking about the flowers, which is really, really interesting. Okay. So price wanted to close this gap, and I wouldn't be surprised this is going to be the end of that buy area. But mind you, this supply and demand zone was drawn out here. It stopped at the supply and demand zone, wicked out crazy, and I'm really, really sure it's going to continue its way to the downside right now. But if anything, price has to tell me so, more than me just saying, price is going to do X. Okay. So I want to see something based upon this H4, right? So let's see, point A, point B, 38.2, beautiful. I think this is the beginning of the continuation to the downside, which is going to be a very, very nice down push. But like I said, price has to tell me. So the weekly and the daily say, the river is going to the downtrend. The H4 gives me my opportunity. So here, let me draw another fib real quick. So we have point A, point B down here. So point A, point B, I pull this out over here, And what we see is the fact that, let me take this off so you can be able to see. We see that price gets to 78.6 to the T, right? I got into these cells right here. Price closed that gap that it needed to close. That's all I need to do, right? So 78.6 tells me a slow retracement, right? And then from there, what we see is the fact that, again, point A, point B, price gets to 38.2, which is a price reversal zone, a very, very strong price reversal zone. So there's two things that you can be able to do. So H4, now you see the pattern. Let's go to the H1 time frame. This is when you do your strike, okay? Man, that would have been freaking beautiful to get in up here. Holy crap. Anyways, so point A, point B, price closed up here. That's okay, right? Price closed up here, right? 78.6. Man, this would have been everything. Oh, Lord. Yes, this will be recorded, sir. So point A, point B, price got to 78.6, okay? That'd been a perfect sell right here. And mind you, I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, let me just get in, put my stop loss right here. But I'm like, you know what? Let me focus. I'm looking at one specific pair right now. Let me not get all over the place. I should have got in. Anyways, so the H1 time frame is where you're going to strike, but the M15 is where you're going to enter. And this is where I go in high depth when it comes to the course that I host. Okay, so price pushed up. Now here's the thing. Price has to do a couple different things for me to feel comfortable to get in right away. So based upon this M15, I wouldn't be surprised. Price may, okay, so price pushed up, pushed down, got to 50%, right? So my bias is mainly based upon the sells. So what I would do is I would want this to retrace up a little further, right? Retrace up just a little further, probably to this area right here. And mind you, literally, I'm telling you what to do. Okay, so right here. So I would want this to retrace just a little further, probably to this area right here. Remember 144.121. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised price will probably push up to this 38.2 level based on the 15-minute time frame. I'll probably even go a little higher to the 61.8 or in between here. I don't know if it's going to go to 61.8. It may, right? But in between here, in between this entire area right here, okay? But mostly here, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for prices to push up a bit. Price push up to here, or price to push up to in this area right here, right? And then from there, I'm going to look for a break in structure on the 15-minute time frame for it to look something like this. It's going to push down, push up. Man, I hope you guys are taking notes. I promise you what I'm giving you right now is over $1,000 worth of value right now for free. I promise you, right? So push down, push up, break structure. And what I mean by break structure, it'll do this, boom, right? Push down, push up, break structure. That red line right there means it's broken. You'll probably retest that area. And then from there, push to the downside. I hope you're taking notes, right? But the thing is, price has to tell you it's doing that. Okay, don't just jump in, right? Let price tell you it's doing this. Take your time. It's actually better to wait until you see, you know, the M30 do something like this. And what you're looking for are what we call bearish engulfing candles, and it'll look something like this, where you see a bearish candle engulfing a bullish candle. Okay, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so we're gonna look for price to push up just a little more. And I'm not saying once it gets to the 61.8 area, you sell. That's not what I'm saying. What we got to do is we got to wait till it shows you, okay, price pushed down, pushed up, broke that structure, better on the M30. And then from there, retest that broken structure. And then from there, head to the downside. And overall, my take profit on GJ is, and I have it written down, 140.8. So let me confirm, right? And the way that I'm going to actually confirm with that is I'm going to pull out my fibs, and we're going to see how that lies. So point A, because this is based upon the daily time frame that I see this this look. So the 140.8 is my monthly. So I see price getting back to this last low over here, right? And then from there, probably even push into the negative 27 area and continue its way to the downside. But we would have to see as price continues. So hopefully you got value from that. Go ahead and write in the comments, what you got from that real quick, because I promise you that was some good stuff. Now here, let's do the opposite. So let's just say, price doesn't respect that. Let's say price, breaks this area over here, which I almost out. But let's say price breaks this area right here, but more specifically, breaks this area right here, right, all the way up here, which I don't see really happening, but the market's a market, right? Then I see price retesting this area right here, but I don't really see that. Retesting that area and then pushing its way down. But again, like I said, I don't really see it doing that. All right, so UJ, so it'll probably retest that area and then from there continue its way down. But overall, it's down. All right, so now let's go to UJ. All right, UJ. I got some pips on this last night. I forgot exactly how much. It wasn't much. It was like 30 or something like that. On the push up. And then from there, I just kept on moving my stop loss because I was going to sleep. I didn't want to, go to sleep on UJ. And then from there, it hit my stop loss area. I think I got like 30 pips or something small like that. It's just the fact that UJ, as you can see, let's go to the daily time frame. You're going to see price isn't really moving that much. It did have a good push up, but when it comes to UJ, it's just kind of acting funny. But it did have a nice push up. I do see the continuation to the upside, being the fact that let me see here, point A, point B. This is continuation. All right, let me take this off right here. So point A, point B, continuation. It doesn't get to 38.2, so we'll push this up right here. All right, point A. Remember, wicks, 50%, right? So I do see the fact that price, number one, it broke structure right here, a very nice break of structure, right? Right there, right? And it makes a lower high, so it's not that strong of a buy. But the thing is, the overall push on this H4 time frame for now is an uptrend. So I wouldn't be surprised. Price is just trying to, create a higher low. And exactly, Kent. All right, so point A, point B, point C, it's at 38.2. So right now it's good. We see, well, this candle just opened, and this is also important as well. Like, you got to know what time you're at. So this is something that I don't really see a lot of people saying, but you got to know exactly what time is left on specific candles. Okay, so we see 4 hour, there's like this 4 hour candle literally just started. Because I was gonna say this is seller's exhaustion, but that's not true. The candle just started, right? So being the fact that it got to the 38.2 now, now I'm going to be looking for my buys. But the thing is, again, we got to look for price to, if anything, push down to some area. It's already at 38.2, so let's say it goes to 61.8, right? What it'll do is it'll push down 61.8. It'll slow up a little bit on the lower time frames, push up, push down again, and then from there break that area. Break that area, boom, and then from there retest that area, and then from there continue its way to the upside if that's what it wants to do. But obviously the market's going to be the market, so you'll just have to look at what it's doing, right? Pay attention to what it's doing. Okay, so I'm mostly on the upside when it comes to this one. I already have my TP written down. My TP is 113.1 for this one specifically. Let's see how I got that. Let's go to page 4. Let's do point A, point B. Man, I already have 61.8 as my first take profit. Sheesh. No, the first take profit would probably be 112.4. All right, second take profit 113.1. And then third take profit I have is 114. No, 113.1. Sorry, and third take profit 114.5, and then the last one 116.1. But that's based upon a whole bunch of analysis. But if anything, we'll just move on. Let's go to UCAD. So UCAD, I'm personally going to sell right now, and mostly because the fact that we see a strong push up. And mind you, I am almost furious at myself because for a while I was like, man, what the hell is UCAD doing? Right. So I moved my trend line that was drawn on the daily time frame. I just moved it because before it was right here. Right. So last night, and you can see here, and mind you, I marked this up a while ago. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know, price is gonna start pushing up. I marked this up a long time ago. I don't know if you guys were on this chart breakdown. I think it was like the first one I did on a Sunday. And I was like, okay, price is gonna go to this area. So I got in on my buy here, right? And price pushed up. I got into my buy here, price pushed up, and then from here, hit my stop loss. Whatever, right? Price continued down, pushed up, retested that area, and then it started pushing down. I'm like, what the hell is this thing doing? Price got to this area, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what the heck is doing, right? And I'm like, let me just get into a buy, and I didn't get in. I didn't get in, even though I had this TP set from a long time ago. Price literally stopped right there. I don't know if you guys remember, but I literally spoke about this on the 18th of August. This is literally when I did this whole markup right here. So price stalled right here, broke this level right here, broke this level right here a while ago. And I just see price, just heading back. And it's not really that far of a trade. I got in, let's go to the H1 time frame. So I got in, I think like right here. So I've been in negative like for a while. My stop loss is literally right above it. So it's not like I'd lose that much. So that's why you want to make sure that you get in at the right time, right? At the right time, not in the middle of the move, like at the right time. So like if your stop loss gets hit, it's not really getting hit, 50 pips. It's getting hit anywhere from 5, 10, 20, at the most, 30 pips. But that's still like a lot, right? And that's why you want to make sure that you're at, a proper risk management. The risk management that I'm following now, 2% risk management. Because the thing is, what happens is if it hits that, 10 pip stop loss, you're only losing 2% of your account. That's nothing compared to if you're at, let's say a 10% risk management and hits your stop loss at 10 pips, you're losing 10% of your entire account. And that could be pretty significant, being the fact that to grow that back, you have to grow more than 10%. So it's easier to gain than to lose when it comes to your market. So now let's say with that 2%, getting 80 pips, you're actually getting 2 times 8. Right? So 2%. So it's 2 times 8. So you're gaining, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 16% of your entire account just from that one move. But if you lose, then you're only losing 2% of your entire account. So that's why you want to go into a lower lot size. But just make sure that when you start out your account, with a good amount in your account so that your trades are actually significant. Okay. So I see price getting to at the least 38.2. My take profit is a little higher just because, I don't want to counter trend too much. So my take profit on this one is a very, very small one. 1.31, very, very small. Trade to pay my bills. I just need 60 pips a day, so it doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, that's so I got the 70, right? So it's gonna push down, right, and then from there, I see it continuing on its way up. But when it comes to this UCAD stuff, I really don't even know. But I wouldn't be surprised price would actually push down, a good amount, right? seems like it does that a lot. And it also seems the fact that, you know, price stalls for a long time and it's a massive drop, which is mad weird. Stalls for a long time, massive drop, right? So that's why I talk about back testing. Stalls for a long time, massive drop. And look at how far this drop is. Yeah, you're in the trade for a while. So what? You're only using 2% of your account. As that 2% is being held, you can be able to probably get into a separate account, a separate trade. You see 215 pips within, for this specific trade, within, you know, a day and a half, let's just say a day and a quarter, right? 220 pips. You know, I promise you, like, if you have the right balance in your account, you really do not need, you know, that many pips to be able to survive when it comes to the Forex market. So that has concluded, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's chart breakdown number 33. What I would definitely, you know, say to you guys is I really appreciate you guys coming on. You guys literally make this community. You know, if it wasn't for you guys logging on, you know, I wouldn't make the content. So, you know, I greatly appreciate all of you guys coming on. And as a thank you, what I would love is the fact that you guys like this video right now. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because that's what builds this. Because the thing is, I'm really looking to really reach out to as many people as we can around the world, and be able to help people trade Forex. So again, hey everybody, thank you very much for joining another episode of FX Pro Now. If this content added any value to your life, like I said, you know, our only ask is to go ahead and like and comment and review, you know, the content that we just spoke about. Not only does it help us build this community, but at the end of the day, literally that's all I care about. But it also helps us gain even more value when it comes to, you know, sharing this information over time. So thank you very much for being a part of this community. Until next time, let's become an FX Pro. Now, let's get it. Peace, guys. See you soon, and see you tomorrow for session number 2.